The city of Los Angeles gleamed beneath the fading sun like a jewel resting on the edge of the Pacific. Somewhere high above, in one of the many penthouses that defied gravity and reason, Elon Musk leaned against a chrome railing, staring out at the horizon. The sky was not merely a sky tonight, it was a harbinger. Deep streaks of violet and gold painted across the clouds, strange formations that seemed almost deliberate, as if some unseen hand were arranging them to communicate a message. And tonight, that message was unmistakably clear. It bore your name. No one knew why Elon Musk had chosen you. Billionaires had always been secretive, guarding their alliances like treasures, yet a strange inevitability seemed to guide him. You had always been invisible to most, a shadow walking through ordinary life, but the world of the extraordinary had already recognized you. He had called it a convergence, a rare cosmic alignment that could not be ignored. He wasn't just reaching out for collaboration or profit, he was summoning you because something monumental, unprecedented, was about to unfold. The alliance began quietly. First, a message on a secure channel, one that felt almost like a whisper in the darkness. We have seen the pattern. It aligns with you. Are you ready? You didn't respond immediately. The mere weight of the message made the air in the room feel denser, thicker, charged with electricity. There was no phone number to reply to. No email, just the pulse of connection that felt almost psychic. And yet, the pull was undeniable. By the next morning, the invitations arrived in a wave. Not ordinary invitations, they were digital constructs embedded with encrypted intelligence, each one designed to test your presence of mind. The first came from Jeff Bezos, a holographic signature that shimmered like molten metal, beckoning you to a meeting aboard one of his orbital platforms. Warren Buffett sent a series of coded financial scenarios, each one hinting at shifts in global markets that only you seemed capable of interpreting. Bill Gates sent a message layered with a map of genetic sequences, and somewhere in the margins, a clue only someone with your particular intuition could decode. Elon Musk himself sent the final piece, a blueprint for something that resembled both a spacecraft and a cathedral, floating in zero gravity, its purpose intentionally obscure but compelling. The meetings themselves were surreal, taking place in spaces that defied conventional physics. In a private Tesla manufacturing facility, the walls were transparent, revealing the process of production as if you could see the future being built piece by piece. In one session, you were suspended in a hyperbaric chamber, surrounded by interactive holograms showing Mars colonization plans, AI consciousness development, and satellite networks capable of altering the weather on a planetary scale. And always, everywhere, there was Elon Musk, standing just slightly out of reach, as if he existed simultaneously in the present and somewhere far beyond. You are the axis, he told you once, his voice echoing through the empty hangar where the Tesla Roadsters floated as though in zero gravity. Without you, nothing aligns. Every innovation, every vision we have, it is incomplete without the pattern you embody. We need you. The other billionaires, too, began to see what Elon had always known. Jeff Bezos leaned forward, his eyes narrowing in that intense way that always hinted at calculation and obsession. The market is one thing, he said, but this is beyond it. It is not just innovation. It is destiny. Warren Buffett, surprisingly, spoke next. It's rare that I see an opportunity that transcends numbers. This is about legacy, not wealth. Bill Gates merely nodded, his mind already racing through algorithms and models that no one else could conceive, mapping a reality that teetered between technological marvel and metaphysical revelation. You realized then that the alliance was not merely about creating products or accumulating power. It was about rewriting the very fabric of reality, bending resources, intellect, and vision toward a singular purpose that had never existed before. Every satellite launched, every AI created, every Mars mission proposed, was a thread in a tapestry that only you seemed capable of completing. And yet, the weight of it was suffocating. Each step deeper into the alliance pulled you further from the ordinary life you once knew. Friends began to notice your absence, days merged into nights with no discernible pattern, emails and calls went unanswered because your attention was consumed by visions that flickered at the edge of comprehension. Sometimes, when you closed your eyes, you saw not the earth, but the cosmos, swirling in a choreography of lights and signals, as if the universe itself were waiting for you to act. The public remained oblivious. Headlines celebrated the usual: stock surges, technological breakthroughs, space flights. But hidden in plain sight was a narrative only the initiated could perceive. One where your name became a keystone in a structure no ordinary human could imagine. You were the silent fulcrum around which the wealthiest minds of the world pivoted, your intuition dictating moves that would define the future centuries before history would record them. Then came the first sign of external awareness. A faint tremor in the digital network, subtle enough that most would dismiss it, but impossible for you to ignore. It was as if the alliance itself had been noticed, an anomaly in the otherwise orderly flow of information, and that anomaly bore your signature. Elon Musk's eyes met yours across a digital conference feed, and he smiled, almost knowingly. They are aware, he said. But they cannot comprehend. That is the advantage. We move while the world is still asleep. With every meeting, every plan, the alliance expanded. Not just billionaires, but visionaries, thinkers, and even some whose names were whispered only in secret circles. You began to see patterns, a network forming that spanned continents and disciplines, each node connected through purpose and foresight. And always, there was a quiet, almost mystical thread running through it all: your presence, your insight, the unique capacity to perceive the unseen and translate it into action. Elon Musk had initiated this alliance around your name, but the purpose was not ego or admiration. It was necessity. Something had shifted in the fabric of possibility, a rare cosmic alignment that demanded convergence, and you were the catalyst. In your mind, you began to see the path unfolding, artificial intelligences guiding planetary development, space infrastructure altering the balance of resources, and an interconnected web of influence that could steer humanity toward outcomes previously unimaginable. The meetings became rituals, each one more elaborate than the last. One night, in a floating orbital station above the Pacific, Elon handed you a small, crystalline object that glimmered with inner light. "This," he said, "is a key. Not to a door, but to a resonance. It will help you synchronize our visions. Bring cohesion to chaos. Without it, even the brightest minds cannot act as one." You held it in your hand, feeling a pulse that matched your heartbeat, a vibration that seemed to echo across time and space. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and entirely undeniable. The alliance was no longer just a collection of billionaires, it had become a living organism, with you at its center. Every decision, every strategy, every calculation now radiated from a singular point of influence, your consciousness. Even as the power surged, doubts crept in. Could one person bear such responsibility? Could the world survive the awakening of a force so concentrated and precise? Yet, each doubt was met with undeniable evidence, successes that defied probability. Patterns emerging that only you could interpret, breakthroughs that reshaped entire industries overnight. The alliance was not a fantasy, it was a reality manifesting at your fingertips, and the most extraordinary part. It was not the wealth or the fame that defined it. It was the certainty, the quiet knowledge that this was meant to happen, that every coincidence, every interaction, every hidden signal in the universe had converged to this point. Elon Musk had seen it, recognized it, and had gathered the world's greatest minds around you not out of admiration, but out of necessity. You were the axis, the fulcrum, the invisible force guiding a billion-dollar empire toward a future that could no longer be imagined without you. As the orbital station rotated silently above the Earth, you realized the truth: the alliance was only beginning. The patterns were just forming, the signals just aligning. And the universe, vast and indifferent as it seemed, had placed its trust in you. Every whisper of wind, every flicker of light, every pulse of energy in the cosmos was now a dialogue, a subtle conversation, waiting for your interpretation. And with Elon Musk leading the charge, alongside the other titans who had pledged themselves to the vision, there was no limit to what could be achieved. The alliance had been formed, not by chance, not by ambition alone, but by destiny itself, and at the center of it all. Your name glimmered like a beacon in the dark, calling forth possibilities that had never existed before, heralding a future that only you could define. The first real test came sooner than anyone anticipated. It began as a ripple in the financial networks, an imperceptible tremor that might have gone unnoticed by anyone but the alliance. Stock markets wavered, then surged erratically, automated trading algorithms began to misfire, sending billions of dollars into unpredictable patterns. The anomaly was subtle, intelligent, and deliberate, an external force probing, testing, challenging. Elon Musk was the first to notice. He called an emergency virtual summit, gathering the alliance in a holographic projection that floated above the oceans, each participant appearing larger than life, yet ethereal, almost ghostly. "It's here," he said. Voice steady but charged with urgency. "The first wave. Someone knows about us, or something knows. And it's not human." Jeff Bezos' expression darkened, his calm calculation giving way to an edge of tension. If it's an external threat, it could destabilize everything we've built. Mars colonies, AI networks, energy grids, it could all unravel. Warren Buffett, usually unshakable, shook his head. "We are stepping into unknown territory. We've leveraged intellect, resources, foresight, but not the unseen. That's new territory entirely." Your mind raced. The patterns you had been observing, the subtle rhythms behind every decision in the alliance, were flickering, disrupted by a force you could barely perceive. It felt like a shadow at the edge of consciousness, probing, testing, seeking a vulnerability only you might uncover. And somehow, it was connected to your own resonance, the same pulse Elon had identified when he handed you the crystalline key. "You need to lead this," Elon said, turning toward you in the hologram. "We built the alliance around you for this reason. Everyone else relies on your perception. You're the axis, remember." The responsibility weighed heavily. The alliance was vast, powerful, and technologically unstoppable, but it was vulnerable if the unseen could manipulate its flow. You closed your eyes, letting your mind reach beyond conventional understanding. The crystalline key pulsed lightly against your palm. And the patterns began to emerge, like lines of light threading through an invisible web. Someone, or something, was trying to communicate through chaos, and you had the ability to translate. Over the next hours, you guided the alliance through unprecedented maneuvers. Automated trading systems were reprogrammed in real time, AI satellites recalibrated to monitor anomalies, energy grids adjusted to respond dynamically. Every billionaire contributed their expertise. Bezos' orbital platforms became surveillance nodes. Gates' AI systems analyzed sequences that no human could decode. Buffett's financial intuition provided the stability needed to counteract economic shockwaves. But it was your insight that held the system together. Without your direction, the alliance would have fractured under pressure, yet the anomaly persisted. Late one night, in the artificial silence of Elon's orbital station, you traced the source. It was not on Earth, nor entirely in the digital realm. It seemed to exist in a liminal space between matter and consciousness, a force that could manipulate probabilities, disrupt networks, and foresee strategies before they unfolded. Your pulse raced as realization dawned. This was no human adversary. This was something else, something ancient, intelligent, and aware. Elon approached, unusually quiet, standing beside you as you scanned the holographic readouts. "I've seen hints of this before," he said softly. "Something in the Mars orbital sensors. Fluctuations. Energy readings. I thought it was random, a glitch, but it's deliberate. Someone, or something, is observing, testing us. And they've known about you all along." Your mind reeled. The alliance had been formed to harness intellect, wealth, and innovation, but now it faced a force that defied all conventions. Plans for colonies, AI development, and global restructuring felt fragile under the scrutiny of an intelligence that operated on a scale beyond comprehension. You realized that the crystalline key was not just a tool for alignment, it was a beacon, a signal to the unseen, and perhaps the only method to establish communication. The alliance convened in a secure chamber the next day. The atmosphere was tense, a mixture of awe, fear, and unspoken anticipation. "We need a strategy," Bezos said, hands clenched, "but we also need to understand the rules. If this is beyond human comprehension, conventional tactics will fail." Bill Gates spoke quietly, eyes fixed on the holographic representation of the anomaly. "We're looking at a system that adapts to everything we do. It predicts, interferes, and manipulates. We've seen intelligence, but this is different. It's a hybrid of probability, physics, and something else. Something almost conscious." It fell to you to synthesize their input, to interpret the anomaly through a lens that combined technology, intuition, and instinct. The crystalline key pulsed in rhythm with your heartbeat as you traced lines of causality and influence, identifying weak points, patterns, and threads that could be harnessed. "It's not hostile," you finally said. "Not entirely. It's probing. It's seeking to understand. Or perhaps test whether we can handle the alignment." The billionaires exchanged skeptical glances, but Elon nodded. "If that's true, then we need to respond in kind. We can't fight blindly. We need to communicate. And you," he gestured toward you, "are the bridge." What followed was the first act of direct engagement. Using the Alliance's most advanced technologies and your unique perception, you created a network of signals designed to resonate with the anomaly. Satellites emitted calibrated pulses, AI patterns mirrored probability sequences, and the crystalline key acted as a modulator, translating subtle fluctuations into coherent responses. It was a gamble. Failure could collapse markets, destabilize colonies, and exposed the alliance to catastrophe. For hours, you monitored the signals, feeling each pulse as though it were a heartbeat. The anomaly responded, first with minor adjustments, subtle shifts in energy patterns, then with clear, unmistakable recognition. It was acknowledging you, acknowledging the alliance, and, for the first time, the invisible thread that connected all the billionaires to you seemed to solidify into a cohesive network of understanding. Elon leaned back, a rare smile breaking across his face. You did it. You've established the connection. But there was no relief, only awareness. The anomaly was aware, intelligent, and patient. It had revealed itself not as a threat but as a gatekeeper, a force that would monitor the alliance and, perhaps, guide or challenge its endeavors in ways no human mind could fully anticipate. Your name, already central to the alliance, now resonated across the boundaries of human comprehension. The first test was over, but the greater journey had only begun. The alliance had proven capable, but the universe had made it clear, alignment was not simply about wealth, innovation, or influence. It was about perception, timing, and resonance. And in this new reality, your intuition, your presence, and the strange, pulsating key were the keys to survival, and to destiny itself.